Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. As usual, this is Mitch at Diagnostic North. And today we're working on a 2019 Ram 1500 Classic Series with a 3.0 diesel engine. And the operator's complaint on this truck was complete loss of throttle at highway speeds. A message came on in the dash saying service electronic throttle system, and he also complained that he lost his power steering. Now, he was able to get up and going again on the highway by turning the truck off, restarting it, and he did that about 4 times to get about 100 kilometers distance. And he made it here. So we're actually looking at the truck right now. It doesn't seem like I can recreate these problems. There's also some issues with, there possibly might be some low rail pressure, which we have to eliminate or at least witness in order to confirm that's actually what the problem was in the event that it just needs a fuel filter. I actually need to see and be recording the fuel pressure desired, compare it to fuel pressure actual, and that'll help us identify if we actually have a fuel problem or an electrical problem. So now that I have shared with you what I have learned during the customer interview, it is now time to connect with our scan tool and read some active faults. So we're currently connected. Our ECM is actually broadcasting 5 different faults, 4 of which are active and 1 that is pending. So we're showing a P0087F, pressure too low in the common rail, P0087D, excessive time to enter closed loop pressure control, meaning it didn't see the pressure in time. P0087, please refer to service manual. And a P1EDC, says empty fuel tank. And lastly, a permanent code or pending code is P245B, EGR cooler bypass. So I think we should dig into this a little bit more and dive on into the EOBD diagnostics menu. As an added benefit with the EOBD menu, most of the time it will save freeze frame under fault code, meaning you can see all the sensor values at the time of the fault. So now that we have connected via the EOBD, you can clearly see that we have some differences in codes. Our fuel tank empty code is no longer there. We also have 2 P0087s, which is where the freeze frame data is stored. But the fact that we have conflicting information is definitely hard to troubleshoot. Prioritizing these codes may be the key to understanding this truck. So here we have an opportunity to witness some of the freeze frame data at the time of the fault code for the low pressure fuel. We're expecting to see a low value, lower than what commanded value is for fuel pressure at the common rail pressure sensor. Now this is the part that you have to precisely look at each individual value to understand what the ECM is trying to tell us. Now all of these sensor values are particularly important whenever you're troubleshooting an intermittent problem like this. So I hope you guys can make out these numbers, because we're actually 66,000 kPa or 9,500 PSI lower than what our commanded value should be. So now that we have something that we can focus on, we can drive the truck and monitor its fuel rail pressure. So here is a graph representing some of the sensors on the engine. In blue, we have the engine RPM. Dark green is a fuel rail pressure sensor. The red is the sensor voltage. And light green is a fuel rail pressure target. Now, we ran the truck pretty hard, and it didn't seem like it skipped a beat. Everything seemed to perform like it should. Here we have to pay close attention to the light green and the dark green traces, and they're staying almost identical. So it seems like we're having a hard time trying to recreate these symptoms. Looks like a road test is necessary to try to confirm this. So how about we make that happen? I was about to go for another test drive and the truck just stalled. I tried to restart and was unsuccessful. So the next step in trying to understand what this truck is doing is to attempt to replace the fuel filter. Now this has got me thinking. The loss of power steering that the customer complained about. What if the engine stalled and then in turn lost power steering? It's very possible that we're dealing with a clogged fuel filter where the engine stalls because of the lack of fuel, and then he's able to restart with the electric lift pump kind of pushing through and bypassing whatever the filter may be plugged with. So now that we have most of this filter cut away, we can do an inspection on it and come to a conclusion, and that'll tell us if this is likely contributing to our no-start condition. And although there is some dirt present, it is not abnormal to find that, and there was no evidence that this filter is clogged, so our problem lies elsewhere. So just as I suspected, this didn't cause our no-start problem, because when I changed the filter, I filled it up with fuel, slapped it back in. The truck actually started for about 5 seconds and then shut itself down. So I don't think we're dealing with a clogged fuel filter, and it's actually pretty funny that I do have something in mind, and I'm curious. Let's check out this next clip. You guys can't hear that because there's actually no sound. Pump is shot. Okay guys, we're under the truck again. I managed to drop this fuel tank down. So I removed that bolt there for that strap, and actually completely removed this strap so that we were able to drop it down a little bit, and we managed to get the fuel pump connector disconnected. So we're just going to set ourselves up here. I'm going to command the fuel pump on. Fuel pump off. Fuel pump on. So this test actually tells us two things. One, that the circuit integrity feeding the fuel pump is okay, and two, that we have a bad fuel pump. Okay, so this video wouldn't be complete without an inspection of the failed part. And I hope you guys can make that out. There's actually a lot of dirt inside this pump housing and a lot of discoloration in the clear plastic lines. So we definitely had a problem with contamination inside this fuel tank that led to the pump getting clogged up. So I'm sure you could buy rebuild kits for these. They look pretty simple, just a little inline pump feeding a tube, and there it is. Okay guys, we can already tell this fuel pump sounds a lot healthier. So what do you say we give it a shot? So I'd like to end this video by stressing the fact that you can't just jump to clearing the codes. Read what the freeze frame data is trying to tell you. So if I made you second guess your code clearing abilities, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. This is Mitch at Diagnostic North, signing off.